Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well through the scriptures. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopeful elect. The title of this lesson will be called Pull Yourself Up by the Bootstraps, question mark, exclamation mark. You know, it's a term that's used in society. Basically, it's supposed to mean that, look, you so-called Negroes want to get out of the condition that you in, then do something about it. That's basically what they, what the term implies in today's phrasing of it. But let's get into it. All right. It says the origins of the phrase "pull yourself up by your bootstraps." The phrase "pull yourself up by your bootstraps" originated shortly before the turn of the 20th century. It's attributed to a late 1800s physics school book that contained the example question, why cannot a man lift himself by pulling up on his bootstraps? So when it became a colloquial phrase referring to socioeconomic advancement shortly thereafter, it was meant to be sarcastic or to suggest that it was an impossible accomplishment. Eventually, however, the phrase commonly accepted meaning evolved. And now when we tell people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, it's implying that socioeconomic advancement is something that everyone should be able to do, albeit something difficult. All right. So in actuality, when you look at the term, they use it today, right? Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, which basically mean, do something about it. You stop being a lazy Negro, so to speak. But in actuality, it's impossible. All right. And the system, right? And the government and what's another word for system? Systemic and racism and systematic racism. All right. Is ingrained in society. It's ingrained in culture. It's ingrained in law. That it is actually quite impossible, all right, to actually be a free citizen in America. That's for anybody. The way they got you in contract law and contractual slaves and debt slaves. So if that's the case for anybody, how much more a so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, right? So let's get this word. Let's get this scripture. This is 42 and 22, Isaiah 42 and 22. It says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. All of us, everybody in America, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, the Israelites. You got a business, okay, on the outside looking in. It might seem like you're doing well for yourself. Okay, cool, fine. But at any given moment, the rug can be pulled out from under you. All right. At any given moment. All right. It says, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for prey and none delivereth. Right. So at any given moment, Esau, Edom, the devil, he want to mishandle you, mistreat you, take away your money. He'll do that. All right. He'll do that. And he does that. You see that happen. Look at Jonathan Majors. He was the next big thing. And then boom. Look at P. Diddy all these years, and me and the Elder Ayash, we was talking. And it's like they got everybody focused on P. Diddy and what he was doing. Well, whatever he was doing, who knows, right? At the end of the day, it was with adults. All right. He totally forgot you to forget about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Disney and Harvey Weinstein and everybody else. All right. It says they are for prey and none delivereth, for spoil and none saith restore. Right. None said restore. So when you go into matter of fact, let me get Isaiah 14. uh, I think it's Isaiah 14 and 6. This is Isaiah 14 and 6. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. See, they give you this idea that once slavery was over with, everything was fair. No, everything wasn't fair. He just doubled down in different ways. It became less visible. All right. It became more covert. Slavery was overt racism. So once slavery ended, and not even all the way slavery, because it's still overt racism now. We out here in Indianapolis, and I was in Carmel at Chick-fil-A. Now I walk into Chick-fil-A and doing some deliveries or whatever, and I walk in there, you got Asians in there, so-called white people in there. The minute I walk in there, it gets silent for a brief second, and I'm sitting there like, nigga, what are you? I'm not dressed thuggish, so to speak, right? But even if I was, it shouldn't be. Maybe I'm just expressing myself. See, it's cool when they do it, right? Like how that one rapper said, right? Yeah, they go about and be goth and wear the foot long mohawk rainbow, and they just expressing themselves, right? Now you ain't supposed to be, I don't condone the thuggish look, with your pants hanging and all of that. You ain't supposed to be dressed like that. It's actually shameful. But just to make the comparison, all right, the mindset of these devils, they hate you, they hate us. So it says Isaiah 14 and 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. All right. He don't release his foot off your neck, man. He don't give you no space to breathe. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. So his time is coming soon. All right. Now, what's that scripture I was going to? Oh, yeah. This is Psalms 73. Which you can really read this whole psalm. Is raw. All right. I'm gonna start at verse 7. It says, I'm gonna read 7 and 8. It says, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at the top. It says, truly the Most High is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. And that's the situation a lot of our people in. It's disheartening. It's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. You can't win for losing. A lot of our people is, we are a resilient people. Don't forget, we are the Israelites. We are a resilient force. All right. That's why when you read Psalm 83, all these other nations are set against us. We the children of the Lord. All right. But the thing is, he is our glory. He is our power. He is what we boast in. And as his sons, we have superior abilities down here on this face of earth. And everybody else know it. Not just black people. OK, it ain't a black thing. It's an Israelite thing. The seed of Israel, regardless of how they look. All right. It says, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men. Yeah, you see Jake go to the same laws that we break. You got a so-called black person break a law, so-called white person break a law. They're rarely punished. And if they are punished, it's to a less extent. All right. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. See, the police get behind them. They don't have a panic attack. Police get behind them. They cussing the police out. It says, therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. Yeah, pull yourself up by the bootstrap. Now, we went into what it actually means, but how people use it today, that's a wicked phrase. Pull myself up by a bootstrap. See, that's how these low-level so-called white people think. See, the elites of their nation know that they know and they install legislation and different devices to keep our people oppressed. All right. The so-called Negro neighborhoods is designed to be 10 degrees hotter. All right. Your neighborhoods are hotter. Your access to food is different. You know it. Come on, Go shop at a grocery store in the so-called black neighborhood, and go shop at the grocery store in the so-called white neighborhood. Oftentimes, the same product in plastic will be in glass. All right, more options, more health options with less preservatives, and it says and they talking about and they designed it that way. Our neighborhoods are more radiated. The water is more fluoride in the water. All right, more chemtrails. Hell, they was releasing mosquitoes. You can Google that and find video on that. They releasing mosquitoes in the so-called black neighborhood. Just constant irritants. I remember growing up in my neighborhood, they would come by and spray for the mosquitoes. They sitting there killing us, man. They used to have this truck go by and literally spray a chemical. And to be honest, we don't know what they were spraying. We don't got no proof of what they was doing. I just remember that it was just a common thought. Oh, they spraying for the mosquitoes. But even then, we used to be like, well, the mosquitoes ain't going no damn well. Just killing us. All right. He that ruled the people in wrath with a continual stroke. It says, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Now, I'm going to play a couple of videos. Look, I ain't going to play this one, but you can check this out. Black towns hidden under lakes and ultimately hidden from history. Yeah, see, they had you focus on Black Wall Street because of the prominence of it. But no, Black Wall Street wasn't the only one. Damn near anywhere our people was at and where we was left alone, we was going to thrive. All right? That's why they ended segregation. You thought they ended segregation because they like you, because they love you, because they want to be fair? No. They ended segregation so they could put a ceiling on your potential. No, teach them this. Let them learn this. You take them. No, we need to teach them. Put them in our school systems. Convinced us that their way is better. Oh, he go to a white school. Okay, but I'm gonna play this video though.
In that agrarian economy, you're just labor. Land is capital. And so to gain money and wealth and to have freedom, you have to have land.
Haven't made $1 bed. Luck is all I've had.
At the end of the war, President Abraham Lincoln had promised the freedmen 40 acres of land per family. But those promises died with Lincoln's assassination.
Instead of 40 acres and a mule, they got the Freedmen's Bank. So instead of land, they were given a bank.
Union soldiers were getting bonuses. So the idea was to create a way to encourage the men to save the money so they wouldn't go squander it or be defrauded out of the money.
Sure.
It was sold to the freedmen as better than giving you the land. You will earn the money through wages and you will save it and you'll buy your own land and you'll feel better about that. Never mind that hundreds of years of working the land didn't count for earning the land.
The Freedmen's Bank was privately held, owned, and managed by wealthy white men. But the bank's aggressive marketing conveyed a different impression to its black depositors.
The passbooks, the notes, all featured, the heroes. It was Abraham Lincoln. It was General Grant, Howard. It was very targeted. So people were saying, these are the men who freed us. And they're saying, come to this bank.
In freedom, some skilled African Americans saved their hard-earned capital at the Freedmen's Bank and went into business for themselves. For some black business people, personal services were the clearest path to success, and sometimes wealth.
They recognized that their ability to have a particular kind of skill set, which was something that the white population needed, allowed them a certain kind of mobility and freedom.
Many of them were able to cash in on expectations that they were replicating their servant roles where whites were in power and African Americans were serving them. For example, a number of black barbers continued to keep their exclusively white clientele after the war.
Yes, even the whites, yeah. See, us men, that barber boy, a man is faithful to his barber. Them good barbers hard to come by.
Barbers spent that time in the barbershop nurturing these relationships with white men and used that money from the barbershop to help fund and to help fuel a black economic movement within their own communities.
From barbershops to grocery stores, black businesses relied on the Freedmen's Bank. But a decade after it was founded, bank president Henry Cook was running the Freedmen's Bank into the ground.
Here was Cook saying, look at all this money. They're putting their money in my bank, and whenever I need it, I'm gonna reach in and get it.
Henry Cook starts looting the bank. He just starts taking this money and lending it or giving it to some friends and acquaintances, just putting the capital into railroad bonds, which was the subprime market of the day.
With the Freedmen's Bank on the verge of collapse, the federal government turned to the best-known African-American leader in the country to salvage it.
Yeah, there's the old ploy by the devil. He always destroys something, run into the ground, and then he get a patsy, so to speak. He let our people be the face of it. Let our people be the face of it being ran. Like America and Obama. All right.
Congress brought in Frederick Douglass to serve as the new president of the Freedmen's Bank. Initially, he invested $10,000 of his own money as a way to shore up the bank, as well as to encourage other African Americans to continue to deposit their money into the bank. But the bank was beyond saving. So Douglass had to go to Congress and say that the bank was bankrupt and it needed to close.
The fact is, I was married to a corpse. I found that I had been placed there with the hope that by some drugs or some mighty magic, I would bring it back. But the life, which was the money, was gone.
The hard-earned savings of the freedmen were lost just in the markets, just poof. And nobody gets prosecuted. This was white-collar crime, actual just crime. It was theft, and nobody goes to prison for it.
Not even 10 additional years of slavery could have done so much to throttle the thrift of the freedmen as the mismanagement and bankruptcy of the series of savings banks chartered by the nation for their special aid.
From 1865 to 1874, about 70,000 people deposited the equivalent of $1.3 billion in modern day numbers. So African Americans enthusiastically embraced the Freedmen's Bank. It was a deep loss for African Americans and a loss of a vast amount of Black wealth.
Soon after the collapse of the bank, the federal government withdrew from the South, returning control of the region to former slave owners. The dream of full citizenship for African Americans came to a screeching halt.
We see the end of efforts to educate formerly enslaved people. We see the end of the protection of the right to vote. And what is allowed to happen is a series of legislative and extra-legal attempts to suppress African-American freedom.
Any land that was able to be secured is also violently retaken. And so what you see is a reassertion of that racial hierarchy in the South that had the white landowners at the top and black labor at the bottom.
Exactly. And now, and with the welfare movement taking the father out of the home, all right, and the crack epidemic, the heroin epidemic, because that was all government sponsored. That was all the devil, the so-called white man doing that. And then the result, what's the result of that? Crackheads and crime. And then that's what they plaster. That's what you see. So now you forget, all right, who you are, where you came from, all right, and your power and potential. You forget all of that, and then this is what you know, all right. See this the devil, man. This is the devil, bro. All right. And matter of fact, the elder did a video. This is Psalm 62:4. Matter of fact, this is Psalm 62:3. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? See, they imagine total mischief. They sit around. It be about however many of them, 10, 20, 30, and they sit from different sectors of the economy. It's like, okay, you in media, okay, you in agriculture, okay, you're in education, you're in this. Okay, what is your plans to keep these people down? What are your plans? And they talk about this and discuss this as if they talking about animals, man. It ain't no sea theory. This is fact. A theory is something that ain't proven yet. This is proven that they do this. They just straight up sit and imagine mischief against us all day. Ye shall be slain, all of you. And that's the price, man. They not going to look. The Lord ain't saving these people. First of all, the Lord only going to save a percentage, a fraction of his people. If he only going to save a fraction of his people, how you going to save? That don't even make sense. The Lord ain't like you old rich Edomites, where you got kids and you don't like your kids and you leave your wealth to a dog. The Lord ain't stupid like that. You people are stupid. Lord ain't the Most High ain't like that. He said, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So his firstborn is going to inherit his wealth. He ain't going to give his wealth to nobody else. The scripture in Baruch says, give not what is profitable to thee unto another nation. You're not getting what's ours. Look, we couldn't get, you see the video I just played? We couldn't get a crumb. We can't even get a damn crumb. And you gonna participate in this pie? Like the old story with the hen that baked the bread and asked the other animals to help bake the bread, and they didn't help. And then when the bread was baked, the other animals thought they was gonna eat. No, you ain't put in on this. You ain't getting in on this. And you can't put in on this because you're not a part of this. Like the book in Ezra say. All right, you have no place in helping our nation. This is our situation. All right. Baruch 4:3. Give not thine honor to another. Yeah, what's our honor? What do we boast in? Look, that we the sons of the living God. You can't have none of that, bro. You got your own whatever going on. It says, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. And you people are strange. All right. And strange can go into Gentile. All right. Like a true Gentile, meaning you are your bloodline is of another nation. It's not the same as the Gentile foreigners who was accepted for salvation, all right? Because the Gentile foreigners, all right, were just living amongst the Gentiles and through the course of years forgot who they were and assimilated. An example for that would be Mexicans. You got so-called Mexicans, they'll come over here, and a couple generations down the line, they eating Taco Bell, they eating McDonald's, they speaking English, they forget Spanish, they celebrating all these holidays. It's the same concept. All right, now where was I at? Psalm 62 and 3. Ye shall be slain, all of you. Yeah, you're gonna die. There's a punishment for this. Just like didn't Egypt get punished for what they did to the children of Israel? And you surpassed Egypt, so you're gonna have a greater punishment. It says, as a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. Yeah, that fence tottering right now. It's just waiting to fall over. It's just waiting. It says they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. Yeah, that's like your top agenda. They delight in lies. Yeah, straight up lying. So-called black women, they the face of government programs and assistance. When you actually do the research, white people receive the overwhelmingly majority of government assistance, whether it be food stamps, all of that. Grants for farming, grants for housing, hell, bank loans. You getting the majority of that. You know how many hoops you got to jump through to get some aid? Especially a so-called black man. Black man, single father of a kid or two. You know what I'm saying? Working a minimum wage job. He ain't getting food stamps. And he's tried. All right? It says they delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Yeah, man. Like this legislation. All right. These bills will have pretty names, and the whole time is to destroy you. Yeah, they'll come up and say a nice little speech. Whole time they killing you. Whole time they making plans to keep you held back. And then they'll have you forget about all of this. And see, now we like Joe Biden said, right? When you look at the matter of fact, let's pull that up. Let's pull up old Biden, and his name Joseph Robert Biden. When you look up his name, Joseph mean he will add Robert. The name Robert mean a scoundrel or a knave or a bad person, and Biden mean to have faith. So his name mean he will add evil people to trust in. All right. And that's what his cabinet. Look at his cabinet. Now check this out. Check out what he say.
What makes up a full life? Being there to lend a hand, being present while feeling our best. Because your health really is your wealth. And it starts with health coverage. Find a plan during open
this a lie right here.
Healthcare.gov today.
The health.
So 25 years after the 1994 incarceration in our country.
The other big piece of
83 in 1990 rate of crime. The 1990 serious
Look, man,
about
just give me the
cutting
man
the prison
saying
population by 50%. Needs to take a hard look at what has worked and hasn't worked in terms of our.
Very straightforward and simple. He knows there are two basic steps here. One step is you must take back the streets. And you take back the streets by more cops, more prisons, more physical protection for the people. He also understands what my friend from Texas understands, and he doesn't talk a lot about, but he signed on to in this bill. He also understands there's a need to keep people who are first-time offenders, who are nonviolent offenders, or who are potential first-time offenders who haven't gotten, I yield myself an additional 3 minutes, who in fact are people who are getting themselves into the crime stream for the first time, that they should be diverted. from the system. So I hope this crime bill, when it passes, the Biden-Hatch crime bill, as it becomes law, God willing, I hope that we will have ended once and for all this notion that is a hangover from the 60s, that somehow Democrats are weak on crime and Democratic presidents are weak on crime and Republicans are tough on crime. The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 that's come out of this Congress.
Right, and they have so-called black people been blindly Democrats since the 60s. And that was the party that wanted to keep racism. See, they bless outwardly, right? But inwardly they curse. The Democratic Party see?
Every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill, and has had a majority vote of the Democratic members of the United States Senate on the bill. So one of the things I want to do in addition to end the crime is end the political carnage that goes on when we talk about crime. Crime is not Democrat or Republican. Making the streets safe is not a Democratic or Republican issue. This is one of those issues I hope this passage of this bill will be taken out of the gridlock category.
Yeah, crime with
and
dealing
moved
with these,
into
it's a black and white
an emerging
thing.
consensus. And the consensus is as follows, and I will
So-called.
cease when I finish this statement. The consensus is A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents, it doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't.
See? You see? It don't matter what we did to them. It don't matter about the evil and wicked conditions we set up for them to fail. It don't matter that we created them. See? They created the condition so you can fit the bill. See? Come on, man.
Matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society.
You see, it don't matter. You see? But let it see, but when it's concerning them, you see that? You see hypocrisy? See, the Most High don't like hypocrisy. The Most High don't he don't like hypocrisy. Job 15:34. It says, "For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate." That's all of them. Senators, presidents, there's a congregation, the so-called white people in general is a congregation of hypocrites. Shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. Yeah, and you know the way the lobbyists and all of these, you see, he said we need more prisons, right? Because the government and the prison system has a relationship. All right, a relationship of bribery. All right, how you got a contract? Check this out. When you go into it, how do you got a contract with the prison where we gonna keep the prison at least 85 to 90% full? So we gonna find ways to put people in jail. And who gonna be those people? So-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Isaiah 42:22. I brought it out earlier. This is a people robbed and spoiled. They are hid in prison houses. They are all in snares and holes. They always coming up with laws. And you want to know something? You rarely see the police in the so-called white neighborhoods. And white people committing all the crimes. White trafficking, killing spouses for insurance, killing babies. They committing all the crimes. Fraud. You don't see the police out there. You have a dude, a so-called white, because most of the police is white, most of them. They'll live an hour away from where they actually work at. They go work. They go work in the so-called black neighborhood. That's where they want to work. That's where they want to work. They want to put you in cuffs and they want to use those weapons. They want to use those tasers and guns. They want to. It says, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society.
Come on, man. And I done brought this out before, but it's still prevalent. It don't matter that they the victims of society. At your hand, we quote unquote was pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps. But that's too much to you. You just want us to be slaves, period. But guess what? What you don't understand is, this is what you don't understand. Oh, let me see. Oh, Isaiah 47:6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. See, the Lord did this. You're not better than us, bro. When you read Daniel, it says, the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men, and he giveth it to the bases of men. You at the bottom of the totem pole in comparison to all ethnicities. But this is to show the Lord's power. Like, look, I can raise this lame up. I can raise this caveman up. You want to try me? You want to play? You forgot who I was? Check this out. I could set up. I'm gonna set up this nothing right here. That's what you people are. And your lack of melanin is a testament that you the wicked of the earth. It says, thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Yeah, you ain't want no retirement in slavery, and ain't no retirement now. I had a job. Oh, what was this? Close to 10 years ago, about 9 years ago, and it was like a factory job, but you gotta move. And it was this older, elderly so-called black woman up in her 70s. I'm talking about she had a walker at work. She had a walker. And there was steps and everything. And she had been there since the job opened. She retired, right? Retired from the job. Man, I say a couple weeks later, she was back at the job because the retirement wasn't enough. The conditions of life is just so, it's getting harder and harder the way he's setting things up. You can't retire. You got to work till you die. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Yeah, the latter. What's the latter? What's the consequence of touching the children of the Lord? He gonna get you. It says, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Yeah, you think you the king of the hill forever. You think you're gonna always rule. It says, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these, because that represents great mourning and great sadness. All right. If you a lady, all right, because a lady's supposed to be kept, right? If you a lady, you a delicate lady, you a beautiful woman. All right. Your husband is your glory. And then if your husband died, then what? That responsibility falls on your children. But you without a husband and you without children, and you a woman used to the finer things of life, you own up in age, you know, 56, you gonna be through. Can you imagine when all hell break loose? A woman, affluent woman, how she gonna be? She gonna be totally through. Prey. A woman used to the finer things in life, and a husband gone and a son's gone. She just out there to fend for herself. She don't know nothing about living in the wild and street smarts and all of that. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, and one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Right. Sorceries, enchantments. All right. That he done put upon the world, and more so our people. Right. To keep us in a state of being destroyed.
The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister.
So with that, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson to the hopeful elect. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakudah, Shalom.